Hey YouTube, welcome back to UniXTCG, and today we're going to be doing a tier list for set 4 as of my testing in the past week to 2 weeks for Nationals. So I hope you guys enjoy, and if you like the content, like the video, and if you love it, maybe even subscribe. If you want to go deeper than this tier list and you have deck lists, breakdowns, more explanations, you can always go in the description, check out the Patreon, jump in the Discord and the Patreon channel, and we have been breaking it down when it comes to testing over there. And then last but not least, I have my second channel, Universe X, where I do my general Dragon Ball content. And if you want to see a bunch of cool stuff over there, such as Sparking Zero content, my Daima episode 5 review that'll be up a little later today, and more, go on there and give it a little subscribe, because we are this close to being at 1,000 subscribers, and every bit would mean so much to me in my content creator journey. So with that being said, let's hop into the tier list. Okay, so with this being said, we're going to start this little list. First off, we're going to go from the newest leaders down, because some of these will surprise you, some of these will not. But we are going to start with Daima Goku. I'm going to put this right up here. We're going to start off coming in hot. Daima Goku, I believe, will top Nationals. I do believe that this is the premier red deck currently. Red and another color that we're going to get to soon in the video are both just decks that have reached this critical mass of they have enough generic good cards to where you're not looking for a leader that has a good archetype. You're looking for a leader that does so generically well that he can just abuse all of the good generically good cards. And that is Daima Goku. Daima Goku has the -5 +5 effect on a battle card that is generally half of Beerus's minusing potential, but he's also pushing your cards up to a different level as well. This allows you to have some really good plays with like 3-drop SR Gohan, which allows you to +5 on him, making it 30k, but -15 on something, plus the 5k from Goku, minusing it by 20, which makes a huge differential if you're swinging on that, putting something down by 20 and swinging on it by 30. But also, even without that differential, you're just able to get a lot of good removal out of him. He's able to do quite a lot. So it's not like +5, -5 is a huge deal, but he is a stable leader who doesn't have the shortcomings of some of the other red leaders that we will talk about a little later. Now, the tiers, mind you, I'm going to put this out here, will top finals, can top finals, wild card, remember you paid to be here, and refund your ticket. I almost jumped the gun talking about Daima Goku, but I do believe he is that good in the premier red deck. Now, speaking of which, this is the best of times, the worst of times. We're going to have to take Vegeta and just straight up put him on here as a refund your ticket. JK. We're going to put him on remember you paid to be here, because to be fair, Blue has a lot of good cards, and I genuinely do think that Blue, no matter what leader you pick, outside of maybe Goku Black, Blue just has the ability to go hard. I really do believe that. They've just got enough cards, even without most of set 4, which doesn't really support Blue in the way that it's used to being played. Blue has a lot of cool things you can do. And Vegeta has a fair amount of support that's going to allow you to drop cards down to a certain level and then reduce or put them at the bottom of the deck. However, at the end of the day, you having to pay one for his effect and there not being enough lowering of cost just has me putting him here at remember you paid to be here tier. Because remember, you just flew out here, you're buying a hotel, you gotta, unless you're a Texan native, you did pay to be here. You gotta respect that. Now, we're gonna have this Goku. I'm gonna put Goku in wild card. Ultra Instinct Goku from this set. I'm putting him in wild card because this deck has too much variance for me. And what I mean by that is, if you can not awaken until turn 5-ish, you know, and then finish off your opponent with these massive haymakers, playing big bodies, copying the attack of those big bodies, defending yourself, that's cool, that's cool. But if your opponent goes wide against you and forces you to awaken early and then just maintains that wide pressure, you fold. You fold so quickly. And so I think that this leader is high-key just not what I would want to take to an 8-9 round tournament for all the marbles. I think that it can have some really good games. I think that it can have some really landslide losses. And I just don't think it's consistent enough to really warrant that type of respect. All right. Next, right here, we have Gohan, and I'm going to be real. This makes me super sad, but in terms of Nationals, because this is a Nationals tier list. Did I not put that there? Hold up. Can I? Is this a text box? No, it's not. This is Nationals. I think that Gohan is fine for locals. I think that Gohan is fine to a degree on competitiveness. He is fragile, but he has some really strong in-game pushes that I love. However, going against the Nationals competition, all you need to really get past Gohan's inboard is a non-cost restricted pop, or 40,000 worth of removal, or 50,000 depending on what you're doing. And Gohan excels when he can get 2 Vegito secret rares on board and then punish from there. This is not something that's able to happen in a meta that's going to be full of Bardoks, that is going to be full of Goku Daimas, it's going to be full of Adra Broly's. This is just not that. So I do not believe that Gohan is going to be a good pick going into Nats. I do think he's a refund your ticket type level. Now, he's not the worst of the worst, but I do think that you should not be coming into Nationals with my GOAT. That's just not it. Now, we've got Vegeta, right? And Vegeta is very weird. He's either at the top of Remember You Paid to Be Here, or he's at the bottom of Wildcard. And the reason why I put this here is because Vegeta can actually be pretty strong, but at the end of the day, Vegeta is not more aggressive than some of the black leaders, and he's also doesn't have the top end that that normal green has. He also doesn't have the high roll potential that normal green has. And so because of that, I've got to put him here. Both Vegeta and Gohan are both in the area of... They just changed how the color works after 3 sets into the game, and they likely need more support to actually fulfill that that role. Gohan needs more cards that focus on graveyard or drop instead of 7 cards in hand, because sometimes you get stuck. Some of your best cards are still 7 cards in hand. You get stuck trying to play both strategies. Vegeta's the same way. There's not a lot of green support that even touches Vegeta because of his abilities and his focus on staying at about 5 to 6 max energy. So he's got to be there. Majin Buu. We're putting Majin Buu at Can Top Finals. Majin Buu is a wrecking ball. And it is truly the best aggro deck we've had in a while. You either destroy somebody or you fizzle out, which is actually how aggro should be. Aggro should be high risk, high reward, and when Buu goes off, you feel it. And if there's ever a turn where you leave the 5-drop on the board and they charge to 6, you will likely die the following turn. So yeah, Buu is actually the most fun yellow deck I've played in a long time, and it is aggro central, and I think it's just really cool. A little bit of hand destruction mixed with some cheating battle cards into play, mixed with some good old-fashioned hands. Majin Buu is actually pretty cool, and I do believe that if you don't run into Jiren the entire day, you have a pretty good chance of topping. However, he does run into some problems with the removal of both red and blue, so you gotta see. But otherwise, yeah, Majin Buu can cook. Another deck I'm gonna put here is a Baby. Baby is also in the Can Top Finals. Now, the only reason why I don't put him in Will Top Finals is because I think that Baby is a deck that requires certain combo pieces, and with all those pieces for the most part coming out in this set and this alone, it's kind of rough. Like, a game where you don't see more than 1 Trunks is completely different than a game where you see 3 of them, or all 4 of them even, just from how much hand control you can have, how many pieces you can recycle, things like that. There's a lot of different ways to build this, whether you're using the Rildo package, the Sigma package, which I wouldn't advise, or just the brainwash cards with generic black things, which I think is probably the best way to build it. But this guy can suffer from inconsistencies, and when he doesn't see his pieces in order, it really hurts. So I do think that that is pretty much where you can kind of get screwed over there. But I do think that both of these decks are probably the best decks to come out of set 4, not counting Daima Goku, which is a starter deck. Next, we're gonna go to Bardock. And Bardock is, I'm gonna put in Will Top Finals. Bardock is a good black deck, and he has the top deck Scry. He's able to be a more aggressive mid-range deck, and I think that black has a lot of tools. Trunks should have probably never been given to the color, and now that Trunks is here and Grade 8 Baby's here, you have more removal to help trim down the field and get some heat off of you. You have a way to blanket your field with a protection effect, and while his removal, while he's still kind of weak to blue and red in terms of their spot removal, you have a lot to offer here, and you can really put some aggression into green and even into blue, because the new Trunks will kind of give you some protection. Now against red, that Trunks is not as steady. It's It's not fraudulent, but it's not as steady. So you got to be a little careful. You definitely have to be a little careful. Now, going over to this next one, you've got Jiren, and I'm gonna put Jiren in wild card, and I'm gonna put him above here. But the thing you have to understand about Jiren this set, and a lot of people are gonna hate on me. I think this may be one of the biggest things I get hated on for the set. Jiren got better as a deck, and it got worse as a format contender because of what everybody else got. Before, Jiren had a pretty good matchup into green because the only thing green could do was double removal him, like Big Bang Attack and Broly, which is costly, Broly and Gohan, which is costly and sets you back on your ramp, or you had to be Cell and play the 8-drop, which is a little later in the game, gave Red quite the time to build up the hand, or, you know, Black had to see Pan, or Par him so he couldn't attack. Red got rid of it pretty easily, Blue got rid of it pretty easily. Now, with the Warm Greeting in here, Blue has no problem with Jiren. Red, with the right tools, can get rid of Jiren's very easily. Warm Greeting just puts Jiren into energy, and then Black now not only has Pan, but has the Goten that you can combo from field to bounce a 4 cost. So the only color that can't effectively deal with Jiren is now yellow, and that puts too many holes in its game plan. Jiren got great support. Jiren got the Topo, but it's still a 4 cost that can be sickled right alongside of Jiren. Jiren got the Jiren 6 cost, but that's the end of the game. That is the end of the game. Your opponent needs to be at 2 life for that to work effectively. And since you won't be able to be drawing as much once you flip over, and some of these decks are going crazy. Majin Buu will push you into Awakening, but then they can't deal with the Jiren. Baby can push you into Awakening. Daima Goku can push you into Awakening. A lot of decks are going in. The androids can push you into Awakening. So we're just at a point right now where I just don't believe that Jiren is the rock that he was in the last set. He was already the odd man out of the quartet. Last set where we had Vegeta, blue Vegeta, green androids, and black Bardock, and then we had red Jiren. Red Jiren was the shorter leg on the 4-leg stool. Like, he had some holes in that game plan, and he did not have one bad matchup in the triangle. He had a couple weird matchups up in the triangle. Every one of those decks really essentially had one bad matchup. Green was weak to black, black was weak to blue, blue was weak to green. But Jiren was weak to blue heavily, and then depending on what black got, like the Pans and whatnot, it was kind of weak to Pan. But then on top of that, you also have even green being able to double up on the destruction. So Jiren was the odd man out, and now Jiren, I think, has fallen out of the top contender. Now I'm going to go over to Top Coup. I think Top Coup is definitely another wild card, mainly because, or not Top Coup, sorry. He literally checks the top of your deck, but he's not Top Coup. Dead Coup is another wild card because blue is indeed that strong. Satan City got a little support with the Videl, but blue has a lot to offer, and blue is just a strong color in general. And when it comes to the blue leaders, this is one of the stronger leaders. So I'm just putting him a wild card because I wouldn't be surprised if I saw this in the top 64. I just don't think you should come in with this leader banking on top 64. Okay, right down with his son, you're gonna get Piccolo in the refund your ticket tier. His early and mid game is still just abysmal. You are playing far too many extra cards you can't do anything with, and then you can get folded by people going wide. Eventually you get folded by people going tall. And if you manage to get to 8 energy and start putting hands on people, yes, you can probably win if you don't die the first turn after you get your first double swing off. It just becomes pretty bad. Majin Buu, right? I'm going to put Majin Buu in the Remember You Paid to Be Here tier. He got some support. He still has the barrier boos, but a lot of the support is more angled towards the new Majin Buu, and that just kind of leaves him in an awkward place. He did get some support in here, but him playing a 2-drop or less at the end of the turn isn't enough once you've awakened. And we're not in the format where those things just don't get removed before you can even touch them. Red with all of its removal, blue with its removal, black with 10 times Kamehameha and its new removal. All of these colors will get rid of those cards the turn after they're played. So you really can't rely on them, and that's just generally a problem. GT Goku, we're putting that here. Testing is still jury's out on this, but these two decks are very interchangeable. Goku got some good support, and I'll dive into this later, and we'll dive even deeper on the Patreon, so stay tuned for that, or join up if you haven't already. But GT Goku got Pan and GT Goku, the double striker, and then you got more good cards in black. So we're just at a point where black is now just a strong color. GT Goku is no longer the runner-up in my opinion anymore. I think that Bardock is more consistent because of the scry, and his 25k is nice. But as long as you have Pans and GT Hercules, Goku is consistently hitting 30k on his leader swings because of just comboing for 1 energy. And on top of that, his ceiling is so much higher. His double strike potential between Pans, the new double striker, and his leader effect, when Goku shotguns, he shotguns. When he puts his back into it, you literally feel the pressure. So realistically, I think that Goku is going to be up here. He was already kind of creeping up. We saw some GT Goku's top along with Bardock's, but I think that they are no longer Bardock looking down at GT Goku. It's them on an equal footing for different reasons. Now, real quick, we're going to give a special shout out from our sponsor, Mr. TCG, and then we're going to get back into it. Alright y'all, taking a quick moment to shout out the sponsors for this video. First up is Mystic TCG, a store based in Missouri that sells all sorts of TCG product, even more than what you see featured here on this page. They also buy singles, collections, and prize cards, so make sure you actually catch them out in their store in Missouri at an event, or even on their Facebook, just to be able to see the events here, but also ask them what they're up to and what they're looking for in terms of vending. You can also use the code UNIXTCG to get discounts off your pre-orders as well as orders, so make sure you get your TCG product while it's hot. And we're always up to all sorts of things in Universe X, so you can go down the description and check the link tree to find out about my other channels, my Twitch, or any other avenues that I'm creating content on. And I'll always appreciate the help from you guys. So with that being said, let's get back to the video. Yeah, so you should check out Mystic TCG because not only do they have the Daima starter decks for sale, but they also have set 4 as well if you're just trying to get your stuff for a good price using my code word in the description. Can't miss it. Can't miss it. They also have OPO8 if you are One Piece fans, plus more inventory with the game. So just go over there in the link in the description, check it out, and maybe even get some great savings. Now back to the content. Okay, so coming back in here, we get to look at these. We're just gonna put Top Coup under refund your ticket. He's still pretty good in terms of like random decks you can bring, but you've only got 1 Kefla, and the support they've released for TOP is not worth it. Like imagine discarding a card to play a Vegeta for 1 and then discard 2 more cards just on 50k. It's just not it. So yeah, he's not bad, but he's not great either. Then you've got Zamasu. I'm gonna put Zamasu over here for wild card. He can get stuck, especially when the aggro goes super fast, and I think green has kind of done its thing here. But at the same time, he is very good. He's blue. He offers some longevity to the game, and I have a friend at Locals who tests with Zamasu, and we had a really long, elongated game. Like I felt like I was in control most of the time, but at the same time, I never expected a green deck to last that long, or a blue deck to last that long versus androids, and we're playing in set 4 meta, so I do put him as a wild card. I don't expect him to top, but again, I would not be surprised if one snuck through top 64. Now we're on Cell, and Cell is going into wild card as well. Cell's the definition of a wild card. He can be oppressed by going wide. He can be bullied, but we've got Warm Greeting now, and on top of that, Cell has a card that can cheat out the field card. Cell might even be able to use Nappas effectively. He's a wild card. I think there needs to be some more testing for Cell, but all in all, I think that he's very strong, and his end game is almost unmatched with the healing and destruction and the big bodies you're putting on board. It's just that at that same time, there's a lot of field card negation or field card wrecking, and Warm Greeting should be staple in green decks, and then on top of Warm Greeting being staple in green decks, Zeno is already staple in blue decks. So you have 2 out of the 5 colors that are instantaneously going to knock out his field card, whereas the other colors can have to struggle against it. But black is naturally going to have the aggression to curb stomp, and likely so is red if they build aggressively enough. So I put him in wild card. It wouldn't surprise me to see him in top cut, but I don't think he's going to be there. Yellow Vegeta, at this point, honestly, I think I have to put Yellow Vegeta in Remember You Paid to Be Here tier, because when you look at it, Yellow Vegeta was supposed to be a deck that could grind and protect its board. Red is running over that with the minus. Black has Pan and now Goten that can bounce cards up when they're protected by Vegeta, but he also has 10 times Kamehameha that could blow them up when Vegeta's not on the board. Baby is the same thing. Majin Buu should out-aggress Yellow. Green at this point, green, like I have a friend at locals who is a ride or die yellow Vegeta fan, and we played last locals, and it just wasn't close. And he's good with the deck. It's just the way yellow or the way green is currently, I just don't think it matches up the same way. So I am gonna put him on Remember You Paid to Be Here tier. We're gonna go over for U7 Goku. He's gonna go right over here and refund your ticket. I think that he's cool. I just think that he's a little too fair. We didn't get a gajillion more. Well, I mean, you know what? This is gonna be my weird thing. Maybe I just have a soft spot for this leader. I'm gonna put him up here. Red got a lot of cards, and they're all U7 this set. So you have the U7 Searcher, you have the new SCR. Yeah, you don't want to go up that high in this deck, but maybe we do make a more mid-range U7 deck that ends with that Goku. Point is, this guy could probably out aggro green to a high degree. Like, he probably has the ability to out aggro green, and on top of out aggroing green, he can lean into some of the removal that would hurt black. But I just don't think that his play style is going to be better than just abusing the best cards in this. And actually, you know what? Sorry, that's what I was tripping on. I forgot. His strategy is very, very, very destroyed by any removal. So blue sickles, black 10 times Kamehameha, greens androids, like just almost every color, even Final Explosion destroys this deck. So yeah, we gotta put him back here over in the refund your ticket because he has no real protection and his basic leader skill is very, very simple. In terms of wildcard, we're definitely going to put Beerus right here. I think Beerus is at a spot where he's got good removal, but sometimes you really feel the fact that he's a crit leader. Sorry, I had a coughing fit. Wow. But Beerus has a lot of good removal. Beerus is the removal god, but you do feel that he's a not draw leader, he's a crit leader, and you feel that. You feel it very badly. And it gets to the point where you will be at a position where sometimes if you get unlucky and you don't see itself awakeners, your opponent can starve you. And then just have an easy mode win the rest of the game. His effect is cool, but I think Daima is just better drawing the first couple turns of the game, getting to the late game. Because red is starting to shift to a mid-range color, and Beerus can't spin that long on Awaken. You just can't. So I think that he's just got to be here. I think there are going to be some good Beerus players, but at the end of the day, I just think he gets walled by blue so hard. And it's just not the same deck it used to be. So I'm going to put him here. I think he might do better than Jiren because of the critical pressure he can put on some of the other decks, but that's about it. Trunks, put him at the bottom of wildcard. Like I said, almost any blue deck is good right now, at the very minimum, just off the sheer power of their card quality. Nothing too much to say about him. It's not like he got a gajillion cards to abuse. A lot of the cards that came on the Diamond deck can probably be abused by Trunks, but it is what it is. Then we got Goku Black. Goku Black's definitely got to go on the refund your tickets here. He's cool, but his high roll isn't even the fastest high roll in the game anymore. Like, you have better high rolls. Because of his need of playing very, very tightly to get his high roll, you have multiple decks that can sneak in their high rolls, like Black. He can be aggressed very, very hard. Just the way you run the deck, there's a little more 0Ks than we're normally in blue at times. You can get pushed. His stuff is fragile. You have to essentially, at this point in the game, you have to play his Zamasus out and then immediately have them used in the same turn. Very seldom can you actually just keep them out. And with some of the decks that are good right now, I just don't see Goku Black being a awesome dude. Gohan is in wildcard. I can see him topping, but he's just not the best green deck, and his ramp feels fair. And it's not that his ramp feels fair, it's that Android 4 costs feel unfair, and it's just not that. And once you land the cell, you start going really, really hard into what you're trying to do, the Cell Games Arena. So I put Gohan here because green is in a pretty good place. Nappa added a lot onto it, and he has good synergy with Nappa because you can still play 4-drop Vegeta, so you can play Nappa later and still have a swinger. So I think there's a lot of good synergy here. It's just not where I can't put him up higher than Wildcard. Androids. Androids are good. And this top tier isn't in any particular order. It's just the order pretty much where I'm putting them up here. Androids are the best green deck. Their high end, their high roll just got better because if you play Nappas instead of Destructive Strengths in your high roll, then you're adding on 30k beaters on top of already ramping. Warm Greeting just made sure that they don't get walled by Jiren. They are still the premier green deck, and they are still a force to be reckoned with. They haven't really changed much since set 2, but yeah, they definitely just ate up Nappa and Warm Greeting. Ginyu. I would put Ginyu over here in Wildcard, lol, but the fact of the matter is what made them better is their field card, and the field card can be destroyed by Warm Greeting and Zeno, so they gotta be over here on the Remember You Paid to Be Here ticket. I don't think they're bad. They actually are surprisingly fun. The field card, Frieza field card is good, but yeah. The next Refund Your Ticket leader is right here. You got Cooler. Cooler is just, unfortunately, that 3 cost is not enough. We need more good Frieza's army or Frieza clan that you can use with his effect. I hope they support this guy. The 3-drop was a step in a good step in the right direction, but just not it overall. Let's just put this guy right here. He's just the basic. He's a generic red leader, so I guess you could put him in Remember You Paid to Be Here because red is just a good color. But he's not doing more than Jiren for the most part. He's definitely doing more from Beerus. Daima is literally him power crept, and even this leader has some cool things that put him above here. But I suppose if UI Goku's here, then you can put this guy here. That's going to be really disrespectful to UI Goku fans, but that is him. Let's cut the BS on this one. Vegeta is still a threat. Vegeta has a very good matchup into 3 of the decks that are in this same tier, and a lot of the decks going down there as well. Yeah, at the end of the day, Vegeta still is the most self-sufficient leader in the game, going up to 35k when he finally does awaken. He's got access to Zeno to reset boards. There's a couple cards. I'm not going to repeat it because it is spicy tech, but I did talk about it in some video about a week ago. And I talk about it often in the Patreon, but there is a card that I think that all blue decks should be running that's going to break the matchup of black. And if you're not, you're going to learn some really unfortunate lessons. But outside of that, you've got the removal to take care of most of red and black and yellow. The only thing you really have to struggle against is black on a high roll or green. And I think he's solid. You Vegeta fans should still have chances at topping. It's just that he has some holes. And if, like I said, if you're not building correctly, black will actually have a matchup that you never expected them to have against you. We're not really up here for Broly. I think Broly, that was an accident. Broly has been in a weird space ever since Sphere of Destruction came out. And some of the other decks, like Androids, can go faster than him. You can stay unawakened with Vegeta for a lot longer and kind of overpower him with the combo power at the end. Black will tear him to pieces, and Red can Sphere of Destruction him if he ever got popular enough to be played. And then you got Frieza, and Frieza is just, he's a Remember You Paid to Be Here tier. He's not doing enough. He's kind of slow. And yeah, so that is my tier list, my preliminary tier list going into Nationals. I might try to update it one more time before we go to Nationals. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments. But based off of my testing so far for Nats, this is my preliminary tier list. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys agree or disagree about, and I can't wait to respond to all your comments. Thanks, and yeah, like I said, if you want to give some extra help, go over to Universe X, subscribe, check out my Sparking Zero content, my Daima content, Dokkan content, Legends content, all of that. So, thanks.